Hello everyone, this is Uncle Destiny here with you. Apologize for the delay in getting the video up for February. Unfortunately, as it was during January and the earlier part of it, I had gone out of town for a trip, and shortly after getting back, I immediately got sick. So energy wasn't where it could have been as we got into the end of the month. And no, this is not related to all the issues people are afraid of right now with the issue coming out of China. But I'm doing better, and I'm just going to go ahead and get the reading done for this month and see what February holds for everyone. Have a good day. Alrighty, so we have our new throw here, and it's a little spread out. But one of the biggest components we're seeing here is the shell, which is facing outward, which shows that this is about the exterior, not so much about the interior nature of what we're going to be dealing with in this month. So when it comes to our larger bones, which are these three here, what I see is we've got family, and then we have this one here is work, and this one here is tied more to purpose. Now, as I said, these two are, this one's dealing with purpose. This one's dealing with work. Now you see they're crossed. Now one could say that easily your purpose for existence is at odds with your work. Now, that's keeping in mind that if we consider what we do for a living as being, which is what often is held in the Western thought, that what we do for our daily bread and keeping the roof overhead is our purpose. And that's not always the case. Our purpose can be on a much higher level. The other aspects that we do just keep the roof overhead is part of that sense of what is necessary to make sure our purpose is held. For some, that may be raising children. For others, that may be creating art. And others, it may be offer healing for others. But what it ultimately means here is that there's a point for reassessment. There's a point where we get to redouble those efforts, and we have the option of sometimes changing our purpose, giving it some adaptation. But ultimately, we are still going to be here to fulfill whatever that purpose is, even if it means it gets a twist. So right now, our purpose and our work, they're ones that are operating in opposite directions to each other, but they do cross, and they'll cross again. So you might feel a little disjointed as this month goes on, or you may find yourself coming more in alignment with it. Because again, if you consider that you're coming to a crosspoint, as you come to the intersection point, that's when everything is moving together, or all that energy is coming together. If you're moving away at any one of those points, that's where the disjointedness is going to come in. But again, keep in mind, this is going to be temporary. You're going to come to other junction points and other places where your purpose and your work do overlap, as well as move parallel to each other. But there'll be a temporary disruption there. Now, the aspect of family, here, what we've got the smaller bone that's sitting in here at the top of it, as well as this other one that's going across the base. Family is going to be at odds. There are those, there's that energy that is going to be focused off on itself. It's energy that is so much about the little things. This is about family members who are trapped into thinking about the little things. They haven't been able to move on from where it is. Down here, on the other hand, we have the rib bone, which acts like a cane, and their support. So you've got family members who are going to be essentially small and petty, and you've got other family members who are able to be supportive and function for the greater good. And again, and the fact that they're at the polar opposites means that there's going to be, again, that sense of discord that comes. Like, how can this be happening? This is going to pass, but for the time being, you've got to sit with it. That's going on there. And the fact we got the quartz crystal in close contact with here with the support, there was probably also going to be talking about the aspect of loss and change. I know for myself, my great aunt just passed this last week, and there's sadness about that passing, but there's also a sense of peace. And I know there's going to be difficulties with that situation. Unfortunately, I won't be able to go to the funeral, but I do plan to offer my support in helping try to cover some of the costs for her internment, or at least for the function of the gathering. And so that's the point where I was like, the focus is on what did she mean to me? And this is where the crystal comes in, and the quartz, and the crystal relationship that is held there. That as much as I am looking at those memories of her, I'm still looking at them with a fondness, and I accept that there may be some shadow to it. But there is a positivity that I'm choosing to focus on, and that's why where the crystal is positioned here closest to the place of support, this is going to be a time more about do the support, less about the pettiness. Now, as I said before, the shell is turned up, and we have that one focusing on the issues of the outside world. And like I said, with this death that's happened, while it is part of the family, it is part of the outside world. There are so many other things that are going on that are also drawing my attention, and that's part of what's happening up here. The sense of the crossbones, the cross purpose, it's about some of the outer things going on in our lives, not so much our internal aspects. And that's why they can be at odds, because some of the things that we have to do for our purpose may be at odds with what we do for our work, such as someone essentially helping someone through a difficult place when their position is supposed to be the one holding certain rules in place that actually could hurt this person. So that's where we're dealing with that external component of what is our purpose and what is our work. I have a number of other of our support bones. And again, if you notice the grouping, it's still down here towards the bottom, towards where the family aspect is. We do have the broken rib bone here, and it is very prominent. And again, there's going to be strife, but it's at the lower portion of this. It's not the high focus of all of this support help. So again, knowing that there are always going to be those who are going to gravitate towards negativity, we have to keep them in mind. And we also have to keep in mind what inspires that. It's very important to understand what is inspiring other people. We just had the Super Bowl. I recently heard a story about people having arguments and someone dying from that. And it's in that sense of what inspires us in passion can also be the thing that can elevate us or it can bring us down. So it's about bringing our emotions into better check so that they're not affecting our world in a negative. And we have the copper piece here. And so the copper piece, which is also on top of another of the rib bones, is really about inspiration. And that, again, that inspiration is coming in from outside. And even if you follow the line of the rib bone, it's not going to affect spirit. In fact, it's probably going to be caught up by more of these other supports here that will redirect that energy. Now, overall, we come back to the dice, which is when it comes up on number 1, which is the first house of the spiritual energy. And this is about self-appearance, first impressions, beginnings, and your attitude. So if we bring this again back to everything that's going on in the reading, we're looking at what are the attitudes and what is our sense of impressions and beginnings and our sense of self when it comes to our work. What is it when it comes to our sense of purpose, especially if they are not a match? What's going on with our family and our sense of where are we in relation to what is going on? Are we here at the end that's focusing on support, or are we down here at this other end that's focusing on the small and the petty? All of that's going on. Equally, are we being too focused on our sense of appearance to the outside world, but we need to also have a healthy sense of what we are. So it's about balancing all of those things. And overall, again, it's about the attitude that we are bringing into this. Are we bringing this in with a chip on our shoulder? Or are we bringing this in with a sense of we are connected to others and we have an impact on them? We are connected to not just an intellect, we are also connected to emotions. And how are we balancing those? What is the attitude? Are we treating our emotions as something to be disconnected, which in many ways actually gives us a greater chances of being influenced unduly? Are we overly connecting with our emotions to the point where we are so passionate that we aren't seeing the effect we have on the world around us and recognizing it? So this is really about, first and foremost, start with you. Understand where you are going. Understand what you are doing. Understand what you are having an effect on the world. And that's what people are reading. And that's what's helping set up the impressions and the beginnings of the new task. Because as soon as winter is over with, we're in spring. That's only about another month away. And we're going to be starting something new. And we want to bring in that energy with a new sense, but we want to do that having a good sense of who we are and why we're here and what do we value. This is Uncle Destiny on behalf of the spirits and the ancestors. Have a good day.